You ever wonder why a piece of paper with your name on it can decide your entire future? That little document, your birth certificate or passport, basically becomes the main character in your immigration story. Without it, you are kind of like a superhero with no origin story. Everyone is confused about where you even came from. So let us talk about what counts as identity proof for these petitions, because it is not just your old expired learner's permit from high school. Immigration officers want birth certificates, passports, national identity cards, or sometimes even baptismal records if your country used those way back when. Basically anything official that says, yes, this human is who they claim to be, works in your favor. Here's where things get spicy though. What if your home country burned down its records office, or you fled somewhere and could not exactly stop to grab paperwork? This happens more than you would think, especially for folks coming from countries with civil unrest or natural disasters. In these cases, you can use secondary evidence like affidavits from family members, school records, or even religious documents that mention your birth. Let us pause on affidavits for a second because people always get confused here. An affidavit is just a fancy word for a written statement where someone swears under oath that what they are saying is true. Think of it as your Aunt Linda testifying in a very serious way that yes, you were indeed born in 1992 in that small village she still talks about at every holiday dinner. Now here's a plot twist nobody expects. Sometimes your own government becomes the villain in this story by being slow or corrupt. Getting documents from certain countries can take months or even involve bribery situations that nobody wants to be part of. This is exactly why immigration lawyers exist, because they know the workarounds and legal channels that actually get results without you having to become an international document smuggler. Let us talk about the actual process for a second, because requesting these documents usually means contacting your country's embassy or consulate. You fill out forms, sometimes pay fees, and wait for processing times that can range from quick to "did they forget about me" levels of slow. Pro tip: always request multiple certified copies at once, because trust me, you will need backups for backups. Here is something that surprises almost everyone. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS, does not always require original documents. Sometimes certified copies or even notarized translations work just fine for your petition. This is huge because mailing your one and only original passport across the world feels like sending your firstborn child into the void. Speaking of translations, if your documents are not in English, you cannot just throw them into a random translation app and call it done. USCIS wants certified translations, meaning a qualified translator signs off saying, yes, this is accurate. Skipping this step is like showing up to a costume party in regular clothes. Technically you tried, but you missed the whole point. Let us get into DNA testing for a hot second, because in some family-based petitions, paperwork alone cannot prove a biological relationship. When documents are missing or unreliable, DNA tests step in like a science fiction plot twist to confirm parent-child or sibling relationships. It sounds dramatic, but it is honestly one of the most reliable tools available when paper trails fail. Now let us address a common myth floating around immigrant communities like wildfire. Some people think a national identity card alone proves citizenship, but that is not always true depending on the country issuing it. Always double-check what each document actually proves, because confusing residency papers with citizenship papers can seriously delay your case. History time, but quick and painless, I promise. Identity documentation requirements have tightened significantly since the early 2000s, especially after 9/11 changed how seriously countries verify identity. What used to be a simple stamp and signature process became layered with security checks, biometric data, and cross-referencing systems worldwide. Let us talk about biometrics for a second, since they are basically the new main character in identity verification. Fingerprints, photos, and sometimes even iris scans get attached to your immigration file to make sure nobody is pulling an identity swap situation. It sounds like spy movie stuff, but really it just adds another layer of proof that you are exactly who your documents say you are. Here's the emotional part nobody talks about enough. Gathering these documents can feel exhausting and deeply personal. You are not just collecting paperwork, you are essentially proving your existence to a system that does not know your story. That pressure is real, and feeling overwhelmed by it does not mean you are doing anything wrong. Let us bring it back to something practical though, because preparation truly is your best friend here. Start collecting documents early, keep digital backups in multiple places, and never assume one piece of paper will be enough on its own. The petitions that move smoothly are usually the ones where someone thought 2 steps ahead instead of scrambling last minute. So here's the real takeaway. Identity documentation is not just bureaucracy for the sake of bureaucracy. It protects the entire system's integrity while giving you a fair shot at your case. Do you want to learn more about how our immigration lawyers can help you gather and present the right documentation for your petition? Check out the links in the description below.